Okay, and we are live. So, welcome everybody whenever you get here. But I'm joined today with Sir Conservatarian, and you don't see an avatar because she's right next to me, but also my wife, Colleen. And we are starting this new show that I decided to cleverly title Government Watch List because the government has watched us, and now we are going to watch the government. So, the idea of this show is me and Conservatarian are pretty well aligned politically. We agree on most things. My wife is a little more on the opposite side. We disagree on quite a few things. And over the course of a few disagreements, we thought, you know what? What if we started a live stream show where we have a proper discussion about these things instead of just arguing over Trump good, Trump bad, like a bunch of animals? So we decided to start this show. So far, I have Conservatarian joining me, who aligns with me pretty well politically, like I said.
You said this already.
Yeah, no, I repeat myself a lot. Deal with it. But my wife is joining me too because, like I said, we disagree on some things, and I'm currently trying to find another person that leans a little more to the left. That way we can get some more perspectives in this show. And honestly, if another idea I've had for the show, I was going to ask both hosts about this, is also the idea of maybe in the future featuring a guest every month.
Right.
To switch up and get extra opinions. What would you think about that?
Sounds cool.
We'll discuss that later, but so let me introduce my first co-host, Sir Conservatarian. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be with you. Hey, dude. I look forward to this discussion.
Right, babe.
What do you want me to say?
Say hi. Say your name. Say your political alignment if you want.
You literally just did all that for me. Arsinoe, I'm liberal.
I didn't say your actual name. I used your real name.
Well, I prefer Arsinoe. Thank you.
I'm just going to call you Arson for short.
Okay. I like fire, so it works.
Lovely.
Alrighty, so.
I'm going to start, or am I going to sit here for hours?
No, don't worry, we're going to start. I'm just checking out the article real quick. So we're going to, the way the show is going to work, we're going to discuss what the government, particularly the Trump administration, has done over the last month. Originally, I was going to focus solely on Trump just because the media is mostly against him while Fox News thinks he's God. And I want to switch it up so that there's a proper discussion with people that agree with and disagree with Trump and try to give people an alternative to the biased media. And I'm going to try to be properly prepared in the future as I drive and collect information. I was less prepared this time because my home time got really, really busy, but I think we can still have an interesting discussion. I'm going to go ahead and present myself and do a screen share real quick, and we'll look at the first article, which is going to be on Trump and his tax plan. Screen share. We see the vortex.
Yes, we do.
And now we should see. Now we should see the article. Let the stream play there and mute it. Okay, there we go. All right, so it's presenting. So December 22nd, 2017, President Trump signed the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Cuts corporate tax rate from 35% to 21% beginning in 2018, which is this year. Top individual tax rate will drop to 37%, cuts income tax rates, doubles the standard deduction, and eliminates personal exemptions. Now, let me start with, does anybody know what the standard deduction or personal exemptions are?
Nope.
No, I'm not.
Good, we have a stream with people that don't know what the hell they're talking about. No, I'm just screwing around. I do plan to do a little more research into the taxes and stuff like that. Might talk to my mother and see what she knows because she does all the taxes for her business. But the personal exemptions, if I'm going to go ahead and click on it, see what it leads me to. But if my guess is right, I'm going to assume that it means if you're doing business taxes, you can't exempt yourself from your business taxes. So like if I run a business, I can't get a deduction just because I own it and I deduct myself. I'm going to assume that's what it means. Except time into the IRS doesn't tax you on every single dollar you take in. The Internal Revenue Code offers numerous deductions you can use to shave away some of your income, and the IRS only taxes you on the balance. Personal exemptions are one form of deduction you can use to reduce your taxable income as of 2017, and this in turn lowers the amount of income tax you'll pay because you're paying taxes on less. There might or might not be a personal exemption available in tax year 2018 as of December 2017. Still up in the air. Congress has been mulling over the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which makes some radical changes to the existing tax code. One of those changes, at least in the version of the bill proposed by the House of Representatives, eliminates personal exemptions. The Senate's bill also eliminates those exemptions, but only through 2025. It remains to be seen whether the act will be signed into law, and if so, what provisions it will make to the final version. But keep in mind that there is no guarantee that personal exemptions will still be available in tax year 2018. So I'm going to look at this real quick. So yeah, it looks like from what I'm reading, it looks like it means like you can do a deduction on yourself. So go back to here. Go away, ads. Okay, it went away. Deduction and eliminates personal exemption. So yeah, I think that means it's taking. I think it means that it eliminates the ability for me and you to take make an exemption on us if we file jointly, for example.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes sense.
Okay, so on that note, what do you guys think about? What do you think about that part of the act?
I mean, I hate taxes in general. I see that taxes are necessary. I don't like them. If I were to, I don't know. I want to say, yeah, that's a bad thing, but at the same time, there has to come to a point where someone has to pay their fair share, you know?
What do you think?
I pretty much agree.
I need to get better at learning where the controls are on this thing, but I kind of do agree. Like as far as like this is the biggest thing that I'm curious about is biggest thing I don't get with taxes though is I agree with you with taxes. Like my view is they're like stoplights. You hate them, but you need them.
Yep.
Like I will start by saying that I personally think it should be like a solid 15% tax rate for everybody and businesses. And I'd work out the kinks as I learned about them a little more, but basically a flat rate so that everybody's paying the same. No matter how rich you are, no matter how poor you are, you're paying 15% in taxes. That should fund everything.
I agree. Is there something wrong?
No, keep going.
To me, I think this. I would be in favor of going to somewhere as low as like 10% taxes, but that's just me personally. Because here's the thing: is that people, and this is a problem I have with anarchists is that people will still want to have the feeling of that of the state. They still want to have that security, you know, because this is where taxes come into play. They're going to be funding the military. They're going to be funding our border security and so on. And as much as it sucks, it has to happen, you know. But
that's true. That's one thing I've always not gonna lie. I've been wanting to talk to one of the anarcho-capitalists. We talk to on a regular basis and have a little discussion with them about like how they envision that type of system to work and stuff like that. Because in my mind, without government and without taxes and stuff like that, who's going to be, where are you going to get EMTs? Where are you going to get the police? Well, I mean, they're probably against the police in general. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to any of them in depth, but
yeah, this is probably
emergency services, and how are you going to upkeep the roads? I mean, I'll admit, my 2 cents actually made a convincing agreement about that. Is like people privately funding the roads and companies taking bids to build them and stuff like that, which is to an extent how it works. Just instead of people privately funding the roads, the government pays for the roads. At least the public ones. Toll roads are a different story, because toll roads, like for example the Kansas Turnpike, people bought bonds for the Kansas Turnpike to have it built. And then the tolls, what they're doing with the tolls is they're slowly paying those bonds back. And I'm not sure if they're going to continue with the toll road past when they paid them back, which should be like 2030 or something like that. But at the point when they pay those back, they might make it a free highway or something like that. I'm not sure. But
yeah, to me, when it comes to the usage of taxes, I can definitely see certain things being handled in the free market, such as security, police. That's like there's a difference between private security and police, but it's when it comes to the military is when I'm really concerned, because you cannot
hang on 1 second. Give me 1 second. Some video starts automatically playing.
That's okay.
Okay, go ahead. I gotta pause.
You cannot have several small militaries going up against one big military in times of an invasion, you know? And I just think it's a complex system. Also, the video lexicographer says this: taxation is theft. But like you said, a flat tax is one of the most reasonable taxes. Abolish the income tax and instate a national sales tax on luxury items. I agree with that. To me, I would rather be taxed on the things I buy rather than the things I earn, or not on what I earn, you know?
Yeah, it makes a little bit of sense. But I don't totally disagree with taxes, like I said. And when I said that 15% rate, another idea I've also thought of is like reducing it down, starting at 15%, eventually trying to get it to like 5% or as low as it can possibly get, where places are still able to function.
Yep. Because you can't. And again, and I remember watching this one YouTuber called Political Ferret. If we were to get to the point where anarcho-capitalism was a thing, it still would not be able to function, because you'd still need that 1% of tax to fund things like the border, you know?
But exactly, because you can't have an unsecured border.
Exactly.
But like I will point one more thing out that I have heard from people that discuss taxes and stuff like that, especially as Trump. I have legitimately seen somebody on Twitter say that before Trump is allowed to pass a tax plan, we should see how it benefits him and his family. Now, specifically stated, I will agree that if it was designed so that only Trump and his family were benefited from it, I would be against it. But I've seen people that have said that, legitimately saying, if it benefits Trump in any way, I don't want it, even if it allows me to keep my own money. Now, like, what do you guys say to that?
Ridiculous.
I mean, I want to laugh at that, but I would say to this is that, you know, it has, like, you're not even anti-him. You're not even anti-people. You're just anti-him. You're not against his policies, just against his character at that point. Like, and here's the thing, is that these people, what they do is that because they're so obsessed with hating him, to being just anti-him, they fail to realize that there are things that they might actually agree with him. For example, his stance when it comes to the banning of bump stocks. They might actually agree with him, but because he's against that, or because they're so against him, are they against him on that?
Yeah, true. Like, I'm pretty sure there have been some people like that. Like, there's been some people to the point I've been thinking, like, There have been some people like that to the point I thought, you know what Trump should do? He should flip his coin and be completely against border security. That way the Democrats will start advertising for the wall.
That would be funny.
I really would. But anyway, you did mention something that I'm going to go ahead and use to segue to the next one, which is going to be, like you said, the bump stock ban. Are you listening to the stream?
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay. As soon as it gets to it, let me know if this plays.
We can't hear him.
Can't hear it?
No. What's he saying?
No, it's not working.
It's not playing through the screen?
No.
Damn it, we got hers to play yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it, so yeah, your guess is as good as mine.
I'm gonna try to get an OBS set up, but I'm gotta get a bit.
Gotta get.
Stop it! You're gonna make me stutter more. Stop laughing at me. You're making it worse. I've got to get a better computer to hold OBS so that I can run OBS when I stream. But this laptop has enough problems with Hangouts. Anyway. This is from the New York Times, which is biased as hell, but is one of the few sources I could find that talks about this. Under pressure from angry, grieving students from a Florida high school where a gunman killed 17 people last week, ordered the Justice Department on Tuesday to issue regulations banning so-called bump stocks, which convert semi-automatic guns to automatic weapons like those used last year in the massacre of concertgoers in Las Vegas. That is the first I've heard about Las Vegas since it didn't fit a political agenda. Now, for anybody in the stream that doesn't know, basically what the bump stock does is, like, when I fire a shot, it will make the gun recoil and bounce back into my finger to keep pushing the trigger. Basically, it uses the recoil to turn it into an automatic weapon, which I have agreed should be banned. And I agree that automatic weapons should be banned or a mixture of regulating them to where you have to go through strict background checks and training and mental evaluations in order to get one. But anyway, that's basically, anyway, that first paragraph basically goes through what I wanted to discuss right here. So
yeah, to me, I'm actually going to disagree with you in this one. To me, when it comes to guns, I think this. People should, like, the citizens should have access to whatever military weapons or to whatever weapons the military uses. Of course, it's going to be expensive as hell, but you still should have it. And as for background checks, as for regulations, yes, I do agree that there should be some regulations. Assault rifles, or not assault rifles, but fully automatics have been banned. It's just okay. It's okay. You still can get fully automatics. It's just really hard to get them because you can't have a fully automatic weapon that was made after 1986. Anything before that, it's fair game. But again, because those guns were made before 1986 and there's such a limited amount of them, the prices for them go up in the thousands.
Should continue to go that whole time.
speak up a little bit.
Sorry.
Like, you're allowed to talk here too. Like, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I mostly agree, but I don't think that we need military-grade guns unless you've been in the military.
I mean, I'm going to be joining the military once I graduate high school.
Yeah.
And to me, I think this. No one's against someone. No one is against the idea of a person with a battle axe, with a chainsaw, mentally deranged, going up to a gun shop saying, "Give me a gun." No one's going to give them give that specific person a gun because, well, he's not there in the head.
Yeah.
And I think, well, what can be defined as an assault weapon? What can be defined as a tool for destruction? I mean, that's how I see a gun. It's simply a tool. It's the person who uses it is what decides the fact, or at least what decides the fate what the gun's going to have, you know?
Yeah. I don't think guns should be banned. I really don't think any guns should be banned. I just think they need to be regulated a lot more strictly than they are now.
I can understand that. To me, and again, this is perhaps is the conservative side of the conservatarian part of me coming out and thinking that that when it comes to fully automatics, they should be given access to the public, but it should be really hard to be given access to the public, if that makes sense. Like you can't just show up and get it easily.
No, that's agreed. Yes.
I understand that different states have different laws when it comes to guns. Like the state that I live in, our gun laws are really relaxed in comparison to others.
And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it's a coincidence that you have one of the loosest gun laws and the lowest crime rate in the country, whereas your neighbor has the strictest gun laws and one of the higher crime rates in the country.
Yeah. An armed society is a polite society, folks. Although I will admit, I am somewhat surprised that her Second Amendment right still covers flamethrowers. I am still shocked. No, I kid you not. That's actually a thing. You can legally own a flamethrower here in the United States. The only two states that have banned that is California and I think Rhode Island or Massachusetts. I don't remember.
On a side note, I think I'm gonna laugh like hell if John pops on here and is just like, I heard the flamethrowers.
Yeah, because a weapon for war is too horrible for us to use on soldiers, but for us regular folks here in the United States, that's perfectly fair game. And also another thing, I should make it clear that the Second Amendment isn't just talking about guns. It's also talking about other weapons such as katanas, nunchucks, and so on. To bear arms is to mean to wield a weapon. If that makes sense.
Google Ghost Gunner, can you look at this? And manufacture your own automatic weapons. If someone wants an automatic weapon, they can get one. Yeah, Jim says, Google Ghost Gunner, you can order this and manufacture your own automatic weapons. If someone wants an automatic weapon, they can get one, which is true. Which is why I have said, like, I had a discussion with Not Too Free the other day. I don't know if you caught that, but what we discussed in there is the fact that we have a problem. Like, I'm going to relate this to the Florida shooting because that's where this article started, and I think this is a discussion that needs to continue. But I think one of the problems that comes with the government trying to help with this shit is they have the mindset, like, they got the problem with our government going the left saying no guns and the right saying no. Yes, guns. Instead of I've rarely seen anybody talk about preventative actions to prevent this crap from happening when it actually makes it to a campus, because what they don't understand is you can ban all the guns you want. This is going to happen again. And we need a way to protect our kids rather than thinking that the law is going to help. Because, I mean, it was already a law that the kid wasn't supposed to bring a gun on that school anyway. And did that help anything?
No.
But
is everything all right?
Yeah, I was just eating chocolate. I was going to give everybody else a chance. I was see if anybody else wanted to talk.
Oh. Yeah, so I think this. Now I recently watched a video from Mundane Matt, and I generally like his content, but this is just one of the very few times I'm thinking, oh my god, Mundane Matt. Here's the thing. I think, yes, teachers should, like, I'm not going to say that all teachers should, but I think that teachers should be encouraged to bring in a firearm to help prevent these things. Because here's the thing, is that you do not need to be like a soldier. You do not need to be like Rambo levels of skills with firearm, you know? The idea is this, is that no one's going to want to mess with you if they know you're armed. And again, you don't even, at that point, you don't even need a fully automatic. It's not like you have to go out in war and fuck up someone, you know? Just a simple handgun would do just fine.
Yeah, no, also Jim's got a point in the chat here. Utah allows teachers to conceal carry. They're not required to do, but they are allowed to. When was the last time you heard of a school shooting in Utah?
Yep.
And like that's one thing I was mentioning the other day when I was streaming with Nachi and my brothers. One of the misconceptions about we should have our teachers carry is when they hear have our teachers carry, they think that we mean require all teachers to carry, because one of the biggest arguments has been 90-year-old Miss Thompson, who can barely lift up a pencil, carrying a Glock. And we're just like,
yeah, no.
And I was just like, yeah, right. Like,
sorry, I'm just picturing my 83-year-old librarian from high school with a gun.
Grandma with a 44 revolver.
I'm a terrible person. What were we saying?
Again. And here's the thing: is like not even the teachers would have to be armed per se, but more like there just had to be security guards around the campus. You know. Now, yes, it would be better if the teachers were to be armed. Yes, but so long as you have armed security guards at the school, it would be fine. Also, my question is this: is that when was the last time you heard a school shooting take place at a private school or a charter school?
Yeah, true.
I mean, that's what.
On a side note to video lexicographer. Sorry, I thought it was Jim.
Yep.
Oh, but anyway, but yeah, that's true. And like what I said was, it shouldn't be a requirement for teachers to do that, but I think it should be an option, because we've had ex-service members that are teaching, that are perfectly capable of carrying on campus and being safe about it. I do agree that anybody that carries on campus, be it a security guard or a shooter, needs to be physically fit enough to handle that situation and sane enough that they're not going to snap in class because they get angry at the kids and shoot the kids or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, here's the other thing that I think a few people don't think about. I've heard a couple arguments. I've heard the argument, so how are we going to pay for this? And my thoughts on how are we going to pay for it is, number one, I'm going to argue the fact that, number one, our schools need an increase in funding to begin with.
Yes.
That's one of the hugest problems we have, is our schools are underfunded. So yes, they need funded more, which would include funding enough to hire security guards if the school deems it necessary.
Yes.
Or just possibly as a requirement. And the other thing I said to that is, if there's a few teachers there that meet the requirements I suggested and are able to carry on campus, that will save money, because then you don't have to hire a security guard. You got one that you're already paying.
That's an interesting proposal. To me, I'm a little bit in the middle of the road here. You see, I think that we shouldn't. I'm all for private schools or charter schools.
Completely agreed. I'd send my daughter to one if I could afford it.
Yes.
Yeah, to me, I would say this is that the less regulations you have on especially get rid of what is it
gun-free zones?
No, gun-free zones, definitely, to hell with them. But Common Core.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Definitely get rid of that, because you're not teaching a student how to learn. You're teaching them how to take a test.
Yeah, they even made it as liberal as Disney is. They even have a crack about that in the new Incredibles movie, which was freaking hilarious.
Wait, they do?
They do. Mr. Incredible is trying to help Dash with his math homework, and Dash is like, "We're not supposed to do it like that. They told us to do it like this." Like, what? But this is math. This is how you do it. Why would they change math? Math is math.
That is a good question.
I understood math in the first place. So
yeah,
no matter how they change it up, I'm not going to understand it.
I mean,
exactly. And for the record, that is honestly one thing we are going to definitely get some information and touch on next month, because I have not heard anything about the education department in the news lately. And I will admit that Betsy DeVos is one of the appointees from Trump that I was just like,
No, she needs to be kicked out.
To me, again, when it comes to Betsy DeVos, I'm like this. Like, is it a good idea or not? I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like a few of the things she's done, but at the same time, it's just like, no. What I will say about her is this: is that when it comes to her standing for due process for men in college campuses, and saying no, we need to get rid of Title IX. Is it Title IX? Title IX?
Yes, if you're talking about that Obama rule that kind of made it a little more, if she says that she was raped, then
yes. I'm glad that she set her stance on that. I'm thankful to God, but at the same time, it's just most of the things she's done, most of the things she's advocated for in the past is just I don't know. She's a hard one for me to trust. Yeah.
I agree on that one. She was one of the few that even the Trump supporters were just like, you sure?
Like out of all the people you could have gone with, you chose her. Okay.
I mean, I don't think he was terrible at picking some of his people, because like General Mattis, not even the liberals could disagree with them. And the one person that did try to trap him got schooled, which was great.
General Mattis, he's a force to be reckoned with.
So what keeps you up at night? Nothing keeps me awake at night. I keep other people awake at night.
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah. But I think I'll finish off with getting a couple statements. Like, what do you think about Trump's decision to have them do away with the bump stocks? Like, do you think that's going to gain a little bit or more trust, or do you think people are still going to try to make it out to be a bad thing?
I disagree with his stance entirely. I don't think he should ban bump stocks. I do think that they should be there should be regulations behind it. Yes, but banning them, no, absolutely not. Is my stance on it.
I don't think they need to be banned necessarily. I think they just need to be, like he said, regulated very strictly. But I do think people are probably going to find a way to turn this on Trump regardless. I don't even like the man. I can see that everything he does is twisted to turn negative in some way.
And here's the thing: is I've actually found Trump supporters trying to defend him, saying, "Oh no, he's playing 5D chess, dude. This isn't even 4D chess. Like if this was chess, then you'd be seeing it in action." But
I'll even say that's one of the things that irritates me the most about how the media treats him and stuff like that. Is like, for example, one of the other guys that I disagree with on a lot of things that I'm gonna see if he will come on the show as a fourth host. He's on the left side of politics, and we both admitted there's been a few things that we have both shared that we have kind of lashed out at each other a little angrily at, just because we have one of those things, like we kind of saw it at the wrong place at the wrong time after Trump's in heat for something that's really stupid, and I jump on there angry that he's accusing him of this without even looking into it or something like that, and vice versa. And we've like, I actually reached out to him on Facebook, and we both apologized for lashing out in anger the few times that we have, and we both enjoy the debates. And he said he would be up for conversation, so I'm talking to him about coming on here sometime.
That's cool.
But that's one of my things that irritates me about the media. They're going so much that we don't know what's true and what's false no more, which is one of the inspirations for this show in general. And then it's also like, I mean, it's caused us to get in arguments a couple times just because of our disagreements we have on Trump in general, but because of some of the media say this is right, this is wrong.
Yeah, to me, I
don't really have an opinion on his politics other than I think some of them are downright stupid. His character in general, I just think he's a shit person.
I mean, to be fair, that is reasonable. I mean, when I first found out that he was running, in my mind, I'm thinking, you're serious, right?
I thought it was a joke, honestly.
Same here. But oh no, he went with a plan that is very, very hilarious, and is, to my surprise, actually worked. But that's a conversation for a different day. But no, I've met people. I've also met people who say that Well, the reason why I dislike him is because of how he acts so prideful. Which, yeah, those are reasons to dislike him. Because no one wants to be around a person who talks a lot about themselves. You know, no one wants to be around a person who acts snobbish. We'll say. I mean, some people might say, "Oh, Donald Trump is a snob," or "Oh, Donald Trump he's smart because of how he acts." I mean, regardless of what you think of him, you gotta admit he is intelligent because we're talking about him. You know, people are talking about him. Even if you didn't care about politics, you were still talking about him. You know.
Agreed. Yeah.
But here's the thing: is that I don't think many people understand that it's not that he's unintelligent. It's just that he's not very well spoken. You know,
I've seen that too, because one of the things I've said is like there's been, like we've even had conversations about this before. There's been a few things that he has said that have been taken out of context because of the way he said it, and I'm sitting there like, okay, he said it exactly the way that I would have probably said it if I was having a stuttering problem that day. So I know what he's talking about.
And again, to me, I can't tell. There are just times where I just think, you know, I can't tell if I should be laughing at this or if I should be facepalming. Like one of the tweets that he made that made me laugh my ass off was of him talking to Kim Jong Un, let him know that I have a red button that's bigger than his, and it's on my desk. Something along those lines. I laugh my ass off at that because, my God, come on, dude. But at the same time, I can understand. Yeah, this looks really stupid.
Yeah, I agree because, like, I mean, hell, I used to make the jokes that if I was running for the president, I'd be one of those. I used to make the joke to my brother. I'd be that guy. I wouldn't even get dressed up. I'd walk in as my old redneck self. I'd pull my lip up, put a dip in, go up there. It's like, sup, bitches. So here's what we're gonna do.
Reality shows up.
Like I've made jokes about that, and I think that's kind of one of the things that shocks people is we've all made jokes like that, and then Donald Trump's the one that's actually executing these jokes. Because like I sit there, I watch the tweets, and like with the Kim Jong Un thing, I'm like, okay, this shit is funny because I fucking hate Kim Jong Un, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, can you please just not? I don't want to start a war. I don't want him to have ammo to claim that we started the war, because what I've heard so far is China's basically said if North Korea fires first, they're not going to do anything. But if we fire first, they're going to back North Korea. And we don't want China on their side, to be honest.
Yeah. And surprisingly, when it comes to the military, might, I'd actually argue that China has a stronger military versus Russia. Because although, yes, Russia has a stronger military, they have better technology, China has a better economy. So you have to take that into account. But that's a conversation for a different day.
Yeah, we'll eventually get to that, especially if over the next month he says something to Kim Jong Un, which I'm not gonna doubt. But I think we'll go ahead and in that conversation there. I'll screen share again and look at this next one. Is it presenting?
Sorry.
It's fine. Oh, I gotta tell it to share. Anyway, scroll to the top of this. President Trump has claimed young aliens, so-called dreamers, have been abandoned by Democrats, even though he himself rescinded the program granting them protection from deportation. Can't believe how badly DACA recipients have been treated by the Democrats. Totally abandoned. Republicans are still working hard, the president tweeted. Both Republicans and Democrats on Thursday rebuked Mr. Trump's four-pillar plan to resolve the fate of the Dreamers, reshape the U.S. immigration system, and fund the border wall. Only 39 senators in the 100-member Senate voted in favor of Trump's proposal. But senators also turned away two other bipartisan proposals, ultimately leaving Congress with no clear path to protect Dreamers. Now, the Senate-wise, what party makes up the majority of the senators right now?
I think it's the Republicans, because they own the House and the Senate.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because like one of my this has always been the hard one, because I think me and you have discussed this a couple times, but like as far as the tweet, I remember seeing that tweet pop up, and I'm sitting there like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Because I don't know that I've ever seen many Republicans that are in favor of keeping DACA. I've heard a lot of them that have been against it from the get-go. And this has always been the hard one because I see the arguments for why people don't want it, but at the same time, I'm sitting here like, I don't want to. It's one of those hard ones because, like, we have a lot of people, mostly SJWs, that blame us for slavery and shit like that when we had absolutely nothing to do with it. But yet, I don't want to do the same thing and send these kids back to where they came from, claiming that it's their parents' fault. Because a lot of them were trying to escape horrible situations. And my biggest problem, I'm going to start off by saying, like, my biggest problem with the whole issue is the Democrats are crying about this because they seemingly want to let them in and just leave it at that. Just let them in. We don't care what they do here. Just let them in. And the Republicans either have a mixture of saying just kick them all back regardless of situation, and people that are like, I think a few people, which I think Trump's leaning on the side on, is give them a chance to become citizens, which is what I would agree with, because I think they should get a grace period to become citizens, like start that process. And if they don't start it in that period, then that would prove to me that they don't care about this country. They don't care about our laws, and you can go back, because if you can't take 10 minutes to go down to the DMV and sign up to become a citizen or whatever you have to do for it within 6 months, then you really don't care that much about staying here and you can go home.
And I think that's a fair statement. To me, when it comes to, oh my god, something's wrong with my tongue. When it comes to like, there's one thing I noticed in the article is that the Democrats have abandoned DACA recipients. Well, there is some truth to that, because you notice how they only cared about DACA recipients up until Donald Trump mentioned it. That's something I noticed. So it's like, you didn't want to talk about this earlier. You didn't want to talk about this then. Why now? Suddenly you care for them, but now you don't.
Exactly. One thing I love that Trump did was, because I think this is fair for him to do in certain situations, is when they were starting to bitch about him wanting to take it away, and he got enough criticism about that, even from his own supporters, that he did the right thing. Heard the criticism, he stopped, and he did his biggest critics, the Democrats. He told them, "Okay, you want it, you fix it," which is what I would agree with, because they seemingly want to do nothing but oppose him. So I think this was good to put this on them to see what their true colors are, which I don't think has worked out very well for them.
No, it has not. And to me, when it comes to I forgot what I was gonna say. There's something wrong with my tongue. I'm sorry, but there's just something. There's something physically wrong with my tongue. I'm not. I apologize.
It's okay. I've had that problem too a few times. So
there's like a bump on it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I get those. I used to get those a lot when I dipped.
Still get those a lot, and I don't even dip. I just eat a lot of sugar.
I'll say that's your problem. So.
Yeah, it's like a.
To make me sweet.
True.
Okay. Anyways, but yeah, to me, I remember seeing this funny scene from South Park, the most recent season, where it shows Randy trying to say, "Oh, look at me, I'm progressive. Look how progressive I am." So he uses a Native American and he kisses the Native American to show that he's progressive, that he has Native American blood in him. So whenever he takes the DNA test, it shows that, oh, he's something percent of a Native American. So, and now that he's used the Native American, he didn't suspect that the man would actually fall in love with him. So fast forward a little bit, Randy starts kicking and beating the Native American dressed up as Christopher Columbus. And I find that to be absolutely ironic. That is the beauty, because it shows that's Matt Stone's and Trey Parker's subtle way of saying this. So the moment that these people get their usage out of the minorities, they don't care for them. That's not to say that the Republicans don't do this. This is something I've always said about the Republicans, that you need to be pro-choice both in and out of the womb, you know?
Oh, yes, I would totally agree with that, because I'm like...
So yeah, it's something that swings both ways. But the fact that these people are so, I guess you'd say, blind, we'll just say blind, to the fact that the moment they find no longer need or use of a certain minority or group, they simply just stop caring about them. And I'm glad that Trump did that. I'm glad that he pointed that out on them.
Yes, totally agree, because, like I said, like, the biggest voices out there are Schumer and Pelosi for now, and every time they open their mouths, they prove that they don't care about this country. They only care about themselves and their political agenda. Because legit, every damn thing that Trump has done, they're against it for some reason or another. And they never have a way to fix it. It's just basic my way or the highway thing. And one thing I've always said about, one thing I've said about them in general is they're one of the problems as to why Trump's as bad at not working with them as he should. Trump's not very good at working with the Democrats. And part of the thing is I kind of see why. Because since the beginning, they have been... sorry, I'm trying to get my thoughts straight. Since the beginning, they have been against him. And even when he went into office saying, I want to work with everybody to better this country, they basically kept saying, no, we're not going to work with you. And that irritated the piss out of me, because they refused to work with him. And then they complained that he just says, you know what, fine, you ain't going to work with me, I'll do it myself. But I'm going to address a comment here. Lexicographer says, I think Trump honestly wants to keep DACA in place, but he's using it as a bargaining chip to get the Democrats to fund the wall and strengthen border security. I think that's been pretty much true, because I've read some articles, actually. I would have pulled them up if I had a little more time to look, but that actually is what led up to that government shutdown recently, is Chuck Schumer went to talk with Trump about DACA, and Trump was saying that he will keep DACA in exchange for a couple conditions I don't remember, but one of them included the wall, funding the wall. And Schumer's against the wall enough, he said no, and they kept threatening that they're going to shut down the government if Trump doesn't pass DACA the way he wants it to. And then Trump doesn't do it, so Schumer has the government shut down, and then he blames it on Trump because Trump didn't do what I said.
I'm sorry, but this I do not know what this is on my tongue, but
is it getting worse as you go, as you keep talking?
No, it's just that I'm actually looking up the symptoms as we're talking, so I apologize.
That's fine. I think we'll talk about this for a few minutes, and then we'll go ahead and take it out, conclude and end, because it's about the end of the hour.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not going to guarantee, like, for future reference, I'm not going to guarantee the show's always going to last exactly an hour. It might last longer. It might be a little bit shorter depending on what happened in that month. Like if it was a slow month for government news, we might not go that long. But if it goes up to 2 hours, I'm not going to be opposed to that. I'm honestly going to – the only thing I'll say is we will – worst case scenario, we will cap it at 3 hours if there's a lot of news and a lot of discussion going on about it.
Sounds cool.
But – and more. I'll go ahead and use this as a. Do you have any more? Do either of you have any more opinions on like the DACA thing, real quick, before I go ahead and conclude everything?
Not really.
I think I said everything that I needed to say.
I think it should be kept, but
I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty good. This is.
I mean, I think it should be kept, honestly, but.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a pretty decent discussion, and honestly, I really hope this show takes off. Like, to anybody that's viewing it now or views it in the future, please share the show around, and please tune in every month when I come home and set this up, because it is. I honestly believe this is something we need. We need actual discussions instead of right versus left all the time and disagreeing and refusing to talk to each other just because we have different political stances.
That's awesome.
Anyway, on that note, I'll I think we'll go ahead and make closing statements. You want to make a closing statement?
I don't really have a closing statement. What do you want me to say?
I don't
Burn
know.
the world down?
Close enough.
Okay, goodbye.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sir Conservatarian. It was a pleasure being on here. It was a pleasure being with you, Mr. Hey Dude 77. Please be sure to check out my channel. I make awesome content, and I host my own live stream series every week called Humanity as a Dumbest. Stay awesome.
Alrighty, and for the record, I will put his link in the description after this, just after this is over. And the last closing statement I'll make is kind of enjoyed this discussion, and another reason I think this will actually be a good show is so far like I said, my wife's on a little bit on the opposite side of the political spectrum as the two of us, and we've agreed on a majority of the things tonight. But yeah, I'll leave it with, I'm also looking for one more left-leaning person to join the stream to even out my wife and help with the discussion. And I think we will go ahead and look into also bringing on a guest every month to get a fifth opinion from somebody that will have a varied political background.
Awesome.
But anyway, so I'll go ahead and ask the timing real quick, but the timing for this show is going to be not necessarily at the same time every week or anything like that. What we're doing is I'm doing this show specifically once a month when I come for home time. For those of you that don't know, I drive a truck for a living. I'm out for a month at a time. So when I get home and have more reliable internet, that is when I will sit and have this discussion with Conservatarian, my wife, and whoever else we get to join the stream. So follow me on Twitter at hey_dude77 for updates on the show and everything like that. And I think with that, I will bid everyone farewell. Good night, and please have a safe, be safe, whatever you're doing. I don't know why I said that. Okay, fine. Later.
Goodbye.